Alright guys, so I wanted to talk about some of the games that have recently come out here on the Infinity Game Table so you guys can get a look, as usual, at some of these games. We're going to be talking about a game called CoinTo, which is an interesting take on the tic-tac-toe kind of thing. And we also got a couple of chess games that they added, Chess Oops All Night and Chess Oops All Pawns. And they also added Word Crossy. So we're going to be taking a look at those games here to let you guys know what I think. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
So just so you guys know, I accidentally said the wrong word, the wrong name of this game before. In the intro, I called it Word Crossy. It's Crossy Word, which makes a lot more sense when you say it out loud. So here we go. So this is a game that you guys are probably going to be familiar with. It's a game that's actually on the table already, which is called Scrabble. But this is their own version of it, their own take on it. And there's a couple of reasons why they probably did this game. Obviously, I don't have actual facts on why they did it. But I would assume there's two main reasons why they did it. One, there's a lot of people outside the United States that have been looking for Scrabble in the UK and stuff like that, and they've been having a hard time getting the rights outside of the US for Scrabble. So they made their own version, which lets those people experience a game like Scrabble on the Infinity Game Table, which I think is great for all those people. And then the second reason is because they can add features that maybe, Scrabble didn't want to do or didn't have the rights to do, and whatever the case may be, they can add more things because this is their own version, their own take on it. They can kind of do whatever they want. They don't have to stay in the lines of whatever Hasbro wants when it comes to this specific game. So you can see here we have save games, so you can save your game in the middle of it, which I always love when games do that. And a rarity nowadays when it comes to the games that are released, which is still great to see that they're still doing it, is the online feature, which is what that connect option is there. So you can always pull this up and, play with people on your friends list and stuff like that to be able to play, which is obviously great to see that that's included on here. So we're going to go ahead and hit start here so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like. You can see the game does play up to 4 people, so you can go ahead and kind of just drag these players wherever you want. I'm going to drag all forward just so you guys can see the board and hit play. And of course, the turn is on the other side right now. Of course, that'd be my luck. But you can see one of the cool things about this is, of course, the fact that it tells you how many remaining tiles there are and you get the points and stuff like that. You guys should be familiar with how this looks like. But when you're sitting on one side or another, you can see that you can pull up your pieces. So if I go over here, I can pull up these pieces. I can have like a little, like either the cardboard thing that, people use to kind of hide, or I can obviously pull one of these. I have, my collection right here of these plastic pieces that I got. That I've shown off in other videos. So I can put these to the side and just kind of show off one, but I have a little one that says no peeking and stuff where I can kind of just put this out in front of me so no one can see my letters, which is great. I can pop them up when I want to and then close them when I don't want to see them anymore and kind of play them out, which is great. And obviously everybody around the table can do that too. And then you have the board right here in the middle. So obviously this game works the exact same way you think it would work. You go ahead and you place a word right there in the middle. You can see there, if I just play a really simple word like axe that this person's playing, you got the check mark there when you're ready to actually play it. Your word scores doubled, so axe gets me 26 points. You can see everyone pops up a little challenge. If somebody wants to challenge it, we'll do that here on the next one so you guys can get an idea of what that what that would be. And then, of course, when you continue playing the game, you get points depending on where you put the letter, as you would and stuff like that. The word is doubled here. The letters here would be, tripled depending on what the value is. And it's this player's turn here, so they can pull up their letters, kind of take a look at what's there. Let's say that they put something like, let's say that they do heat, and we put this over there, and we put, actually, we would have to put it right here, if I can actually spell, and put this right here, and put this right here. And then you can see it says heat. Boom. Let's go ahead and play that there. 22 points. Everyone gets a little challenge symbol there, which is great that we can actually challenge words on here in case people try to make up words that don't actually exist in the dictionary. Or sometimes there may be words that people want to allow that maybe aren't in the Scrabble dictionary, but maybe they are words that people recognize today. So it's great to have the option to say, hey, I do allow it or I don't allow it. We'll challenge one right now that it's this turn in front of you and you can kind of see the letters and stuff. Let's go ahead and say I make up a word that very obviously doesn't exist. And let's go ahead and just put like something like this. Obviously, you can add whatever letters you want, and they're just kind of making stuff up at this point. And I go ahead and hit this. It's going to say he has 12 points. You have about 3 or 4 seconds to challenge. Boom. Challenge. You have been challenged by player 2. Is this a good word? It lets you say, is this a good word or not? I hit no, it's not. boom, it passes your turn. You don't get to score those points, and then the next person goes. So really, really like that option is there. Like I said, because not all games do. And of course, they all have like the how to play section here. So if you want to see exactly all the different rules on here, how you can actually score, the premium letter squares, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of showed you, how the game works, which is great. But yeah, this is a very good version of games that are like this that we've seen before. But like I said, now they have the option of giving you the challenge feature whenever they want as a default option that people like. And then the UK players can kind of play it, and now they can kind of add to this game if they want to, and kind of do their own stuff if they want to. If they want to add some house rules or something like that, that may be changed later on in the game. The next one that we have here is Chess Oops All Nights. So this is obviously a different take on the chess obviously game that all of us know and love, and you can see this one has the exact same thing. It has the saved and the connect feature there, so you can play online against other folks. This is the how to play to section, so you can go ahead and do that. So let's say that we start this game here, so we can go ahead and see what these are here. You can drag your pieces there. There are some house rules in this game. You can enable 3D mode if you want, so it kind of transitions between the camera. And then there's expert mode as well. You can even turn on the AI difficulty from 1 through 5, depending on how hard you want them to be. Or so there is AI in the game, or you can obviously, play with just players. Over here, we're going to play against a computer for the time being, and we're going to go ahead and hit start game. So you can see here at the bottom, it tells you can forfeit or you can stalemate in 75 turns, but you can see everyone has knights, so that's exactly what you would think. If you hold, it kind of tells you where you can move, which is great. So you don't have to worry about where you want to move, and you don't have to guess or anything. You can kind of see exactly where you want to move, and then the computer would go, they would take their turn. And that's the whole point of what makes this different than chess and makes it have different strategies, is that obviously instead of having all the different pieces, you literally are protecting your king with just knights. And obviously we know exactly how knights move, so that's kind of how this would work here, and what you're actually trying to do. So let's go ahead and just take his knight there. Obviously he takes mine at the same time for moving his player piece up, but you get the idea on how this would work here. And what sets this game differently from regular chess. There's also themes in the game, so you can choose a few different styles to how things look and stuff like that. As you can see here, kind of changes up the board and the player pieces and stuff, which is pretty cool that you can do that in the settings right from there if you want to. And this game here is obviously called Chess Oops All Pawns. So as you would expect, it has the exact same features as the other one. You can play, save your game, or connect against other players online with the exact same idea of being able to do different things. And this one I'm actually going to enable 3D mode so you can get an idea of what that would look like, since we didn't do it on the other one. And I am going to turn on the computer again so you guys can get an idea. But obviously here everything is pawns, so you're working with only pawns moving one space, and you're trying to protect the king that way. So again, it just adds different strategy to the chess genre here. And you can see what the 3D effect is doing. It's kind of rotating the table back and forth, depending on how you want that to be. And then you can see, depending on whose turn it is, it's not rotating the board because the other player on the other side is a computer, so there's no reason for it to kind of rotate. I wasn't paying attention, so I'm just letting these computers kind of kill me here. But you get the idea here on how this would work, and what makes these chess games different from regular chess. Again, you can change the theme here. Has the exact same idea. If I change this one, there's another fancy one there that makes the chessboard look a little bit cooler than the standard version. The next one we're going to be talking about here is CoinTo, and this is definitely my favorite of the bunch of games that we're talking about here, because I'm not the hugest chess player, even though I can appreciate from what that is, that there's a lot of people who like chess out there. And obviously, word Crossy is not exactly for me, because obviously Scrabble already exists, so I'm usually going to gravitate towards the other one. But it's good to have them for the purposes of the reasons that I just talked about. But what makes this cool is that this is a game that kind of resembles tic-tac-toe or Connect 4, maybe a combination. But here is how this game works, and I'll show you guys the rules so you guys get an idea. It says, you'll be placing coins in a 4x4 grid to try and create a sequence of 4 coins with at least one common attribute. In other words, get 4 in a row. The catch is that your opponent will choose which coin you place. All game pieces are shared. Whoever places the final piece to create a sequence of 4 is the winner. At the start of the game, a player is randomly chosen and begins by selecting a coin for the other player. Players take turns placing the coin selected by their opponent, and then choosing a coin for their opponent to place, until someone has won or the game ends in a draw. Each coin has a unique combination that follow the following attributes. So, They can either be silver or gold, so you can have 4 silver in a row or 4 gold in a row. It could be 4 squares in a row. It could be 4 circles in a row. It could be 4 big ones in a row. It could be 4 small ones in a row. It could be 4 blank ones in a row or 4 logos in a row. So it has a bunch of different combinations on how you can play a game like this. So it really does add, to the game. Now, this game doesn't have AI or anything, so you are going to be doing, 1v1. I really do like the interface and the graphics and how it kind of looks on the table. I think it looks great. And you can see here, it kind of has the rules right there on the side, so you have no way of forgetting what you're actually trying to do and what those variations are. So like I said, one of the easiest way to obviously score these points, let's say, I'm selecting this for my opponent right now, so that's essentially letting him know, hey, you can place a silver one first. And then he would select one and say, hey, you can place a square one first. And he says confirm, and then I would place one. Now, following those attributes rule here, let's go ahead and say that I am going to, let's say that I'm going to give him the ability to go all big. So let's say I give him all big pieces here. So he's going to place them right there. He just gives me a bunch of pieces here. Obviously, this is not something you would do because you would be making your opponent win. But just to show you guys kind of what I'm talking about, let's say I give him all big pieces here. Put them over there. He gives me this one. I put this one here. Obviously, this isn't really following any sort of attribute over there. And then I'm going to give him the last big one over here. Let's say I give him that one. He places that there. And boom, it says, I know it's a little bit backwards right now, but it says that player wins, color, silver, size, any large. So he won for 2 reasons and 2 attributes, because he placed all silver, like I talked about, you can place all silver, or he also won because he has the size, so all of them are large sizes. So it's cool that when the match ends, it tells you why they won. So in case you have a confusion about the rules or something, you know, hey, this is exactly why he won. He won because they're all silver, or he won because they're all large. So I really do like that. It's a really simplistic game of, again, like tic-tac-toe or Connect 4, but with the variation that your opponent gets to pick what pieces you actually get to put down, like I showed, and the fact that there's multiple ways to win. So it's not just X's and O's or colors and stuff like that like it is in Connect 4. This one actually has a little bit more strategy to it because it actually has those different pieces in there that you can actually select. So I actually think they did a really good job with this one. I think this is a great addition to the table to play 1v1 against someone else, and it's a very easy game to understand, but a lot of strategy can be involved on here. Of course, you're still going to run into stalemate situations, but there's a lot more possibility of running less into it, because one of the things I hate about tic-tac-toe and games like it is that 99% of the time that game ends in a stalemate and no one actually wins. This one, with the varied possibilities of all the different ways you can actually win, it leaves a lot less probability of that happening. Obviously, it's still going to happen sometimes, but not as frequently as games like tic-tac-toe. So this was a great addition. So those are the games that came out recently here, guys, on the Infinity game table. Obviously, these are not, and I know I harp on this every time I make one of these videos, these are not like board games like, that a lot of us are waiting for, in the sense of like a big major board game, like, like the last ones that we got, like Risk and stuff like that, and Pandemic and Ticket to Ride. Obviously, we're all waiting for those type of games, but I will say that these games, work well, they look good, and they have an audience. There's a lot of people out there who love chess. There's a lot of people who are clamoring for a Scrabble-like experience outside of the United States. So that's fantastic to see. They all run well. And CoinTo is a surprise hit. I think that one is a great addition for everyone. I think a lot of people should definitely purchase that one if they're into those strategy 2-player kind of games, because that's a great addition to this table. I'm still waiting for the next big game. They said that they have a couple lined up, so we'll see what these may look like in the future. But I'm really happy with these releases here for what they are, especially with CoinTo, my favorite easily of the 4. And I think that one is a really solid addition to this table that a lot of people are going to appreciate. And Word Crossy is going to be one that a lot of people in the UK and other places are definitely going to appreciate, since they've been clamoring for that one for a long time. So guys, if you guys have any questions about anything you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.